Good evening and welcome to Singapore by Night, a Vampire the Masquerade game set on the normally sunny island of Singapore. But when it gets dark, as we say here, Singapore gets oh. And in case you're wondering why I'm dressed up like this today, it's because it's our special spoopy Halloween episode. And joining me are our players, all three of them this evening. On my right is Ramji playing Tariq.
Oh, you can see I'm in costume as an Indian management consultant.
Excellent cosplay, Ramji. It's impeccable. Wow, that is
super realistic.
bam. Wow.
I felt so.
Couldn't, yeah. Anyway, and on Ramji's right is Sheena Chan playing Chantal.
Hello.
Sheena, tell us about your costume.
I'm Ray Hino, who is also Sailor Mars. I will transform. Ah.
Is Sailor Mars related to Bruno Mars?
No. Not at all.
It's such a pity. But anyway, also joining us this evening in her special feline form, it's Lisa Yo playing Rachel.
Hello.
Lisa, tell us about your Halloween getup.
Not sure if you can tell, but I'm a cat. This is my reference.
Oh my goodness.
What's that kitty's name?
Taki.
Huh?
Taki. Taki.
Taki.
The SPCA.
Oh.
Hi. Oh.
Oh, and also, in case you're wondering, I should explain my outfit also. I'm actually in my costume that I swiped from my school drama club from 24 years ago when I played Lu Xin in a New Year's Sacrifice in 1997. So yeah, the Chinese silk.
How the fuck do you fit into stuff from 20
Oh no,
years ago?
So this is a changpao, which is a long sort of men's robe, and they're very forgiving. They really are. It's just, my shoulders aren't too different and everything else is expanded, but it's fine because changpao, the long men's robes in Chinese fashion. I hope they bring these back. It's really fun to sit down because you need to swipe the back of it back over the seat.
How long is it?
Oh, it's pretty long. It's like it goes all the way down to my ankles.
Oh,
Damn.
wow. That is long.
Yeah. That's why they call it chang pao. Chang, of course, in Mandarin is long, and pao is robe.
Just be careful when you go to the bathroom, I guess.
Yes, absolutely. So this was a thing back in ancient China, actually, and not so ancient. We're talking about the end of the 19th century. People would actually lift up their hems before they got on the streets because the streets were so filthy. And then they let go of it when they were indoors. Anyway, speaking of filthy, this town is full of vice and sin and darkness. No, not really. Sheena, could you tell us about what's been happening in Singapore by night?
All right. So, in the previous session, we had some downtime where Tariq spoke with his sire Samira through a ritual that he learned. He learned that the previous prince was Ventru by the name of Lord Rizal, and he had been beckoned and left. The Sabat then assaulted from across the causeway, and the Singaporean court asked for help from the Malaysians, who came, defeated the Sabat, and part of the deal was to let the Banu Hakim be put in charge, which diminished the power of the Toreador, Ventru, and Nosferatu, who are not too happy with that situation. The Tremere happens to be allied with the Banu Hakim. Anarchs are considered honorable but are dangerous because allying with them would compromise one's position in court. And El, our good old Sinestral, is apparently the last remaining elder in Singapore, and Samira isn't quite certain why he hasn't been beckoned, and apparently he was autarkist before he joined the Camarilla. Autarkist apparently is a term for independent vampires, like seriously independent, not just anarchs who don't want to be called anarchs. Yes. So, according to Samira, she trusts Tua and Jabat, but not Puan Bulang. Interesting. So, on Chantal's side, she found out that the workers who were part of the attack by the Sabat in the dormitories were transferred to a facility owned by Bruce and being tended to by Dr. Georgina. They also assured her that the food quality for the workers is being taken care of, but they refused to let her help or let her know where they actually are. And well, there's that, right? If the people not going to ask for help, never mind. Anyway, so Chantal also helped Moon to get in contact with Bruce. Moon spoke to Bruce about the phone hacking, and the idea is that it was possibly Rico. So she's kind of hoping for them to get involved. Rachel joined the group, and turns out that she is a social worker who was embraced by Mike the Tremere, and was promised her the power to really help the children that she was taking care of. She met Professor Susanto, who works in blood therapy and bloodborne diseases at Biopolis, and also Biopolis is also the Tremere Chantry. And the two of them helped teach Rachel how to vampire, essentially. Professor Susanto then tasked Rachel to bring a vial of blood to Chantal to pass to Bruce, and also wants to ask Moon Moon about what she knows about the Sabbat in Indonesia, which then led to our very first scene, which is Rachel met Chantal, passed her the vial, and we kind of got to know one another. Moon Moon came and met Rachel and recognized her from their human lives. Yes, when they were both human, in which Rachel helped to work with Tina, who was a fellow gang member and drug addict from Moon Moon's past, and had been in a hostel that Rachel worked at. For the rest of the story, please watch the previous episode. We got the vial of blood passed to Albert which is Bruce's ghoul, and Rachel was asked about the Sabbat in Indonesia. However, Tariq was very paranoid about safety because he's not comfortable with the idea that the ghoul just walked into my house anyhow. And then eventually we managed to get the whole coterie inside my secure haven, which took a lot of work because there was like biometrics, have to find the right pillar, everybody have to squish in one by one. Lots of excitement. In any case. What happened after that? Yes, the coterie was left with a package for Professor Susanto, and we all went to the chantry where we met both Mike and Professor Ronnie Susanto, who asked us about the Shimijay? Yes. Anyway, yes. So he explained that he could try to trace the sire of that particular vampire through the rituals that he has. And he explained also that he was creating a device and wants somebody to help to plant it closer to Indonesia. And he wants us to help him to find an item in McRitchie at Syonan Jinja, and said that while he couldn't offer us boons, he could instead offer us payment in some way by the form of special blood. And what he means by special blood is that apparently the chantry has been experimenting by feeding humans specific things and then getting the blood to taste in a specific way. So there was the detox one, which was very healthy tasting, and then the fried chicken blood, which was quite tasty. Yes. And that was where we left off.
Thank you very much, Sheena. Much appreciated. And so what she mentioned, just to quickly note, the super healthy blood, I'll remind you, is batch 24. Fried chicken is batch 22. Those numbers are useful if you want to buy 4D this weekend. Great lottery numbers. Also, Chantal, I'd like to note also that because of the specific wards that Tariq has placed, so this is where I give Ramji a heads up because I'm going to ask him to speak really soon. Because of the specific wards that Tariq has placed on your haven, you've had to do your own housekeeping. Normally, the ghouls would come
the gateway to her door, her room.
All right. So the ghouls normally would come at a prearranged time and ask for permission to come in and clean up your haven, as it were. But they haven't been able to do so. That's the effect, right, Ramji?
Well, so it would part of what I was reading into it. So what Tariq was doing was looking into making some wards that would allow, if somebody interrupted Chantal's rest during the day, her to wake up, and that would have to be immediately around where she rested. It's like literally it's a meter radius, right? So it's pretty small. The same is true of the other one, which is a ward against ghouls entering a certain area. It's a meter radius. So when I was thinking about it for Tariq, actually it's a very small part of the back of his lab that is warded, which is like an area. And so the same thing would be with Chantal. So I'd ask her, because if the alternative is otherwise you would do the front door, and that kind of screws it. Yeah, so it's going to be where she wants it done, and then I'll do it there.
So Chantal, you have to nominate a one So if it's a 1 meter radius, so 2 meter by 2 meter part of your haven, and let me know what it is. That's ghoul proof now.
Okay, that would be
And
my bid.
Yeah,
You-
it's ghoul
you-
proof, and it has weight with eating freshness.
So it's quite cool because if somebody penetrates that ward, then you would just immediately not be surprised, which is always a good thing. All right, so keep that in mind, Chantal. Make a note of that, please.
Mhm.
Thank you for doing that for her, Tariq. Which brings us to Ramji, the reason why we're able to do this at all, which is, of course, our very good friends over at a very special company. What's that, Ramji?
Imagine you are one of the newly embraced. You have spent many, many years studying, working, making your career greatly across all parts of the world. And then finally, some fucker turns you into a vampire. Okay, right. But still, you have business you need to do. You need to set up an office in Asia. Or perhaps what you need to do is expand your already rather dynamic and interesting business. But oh no, I hear you say. What is the problem? I have to do this at night? How can I possibly make my business work this way? Well, let me tell you. If you're looking to do business in Asia, or alternatively looking to expand into Asia in any way possible, whether you're a vampire or just a ghoul, you should get in touch with A Better Consultancy at www.abetterconsultancy.co, because they will help you fuck shit right up. A Better Consultancy.
Thank you very much for that, Ramji. No role necessary, auto successes. And so we're going to start our downtime cycle with Lisa and her newfound animalism abilities. So we didn't know you were gangrel. So Lisa, tell us about Rachel's downtime. What does she do? What has she been doing through the week?
So Rachel went out with Moon to Bras Basah just to hang and window shop. She was invited by Moon and really appreciated it. It was a very nice gesture to kind of welcome her into the group, even though she was a little bit afraid that her past with Tina might be mentioned again. But overall, it was a very, very nice trip. And Tina wasn't mentioned. She also spent a couple of nights in the week just camping out at ECP, just reflecting on her new life as a vampire, thinking about how she wants to be, reinforcing in her mind that it's supposed to be a secret, and just being kind of happy that she was welcome into this new group of friends.
Oh, lovely. Did you feed on any of the other campers at East Coast Park?
How often do vampires have to feed?
Well, the answer is up to you, depending on how hungry you want to get. But I think Sheena might be able to shed some light on that. Sheena, how often would you say a vampire needs to feed?
So in general, it's better to be well fed. Every night when you wake up, you have to make this thing called a rouse check to see whether you got hungrier during the day. If you don't, then you're fine and everything is okay. If you do, then you get a little bit hungrier. So the hungrier you get, the chances of things going bad are higher, because you would add these things called hunger dice to your dice roll. And every time you roll a 1 or a what you call a bestial failure on those, bad things happen. Bad things happen. So in general, you want to keep to as low hunger as you can, because it does help you to power your abilities as well. Oh, okay. So one very important thing is, if you happen to reach hunger 5, which is maximum, you will go into what is known as a hunger frenzy, which means you just want to eat, and you don't really care about what happens to everybody else.
Okay.
Bad things happen because the nearest source of blood may be, for example, Chantal.
Right.
Yeah, the beast takes over. Really bad things happen. So it's a good idea to stay fed. The good news about feeding is that at your humanity level, you get full quite fast. You're humanity 7. And also, another thing to note is that the lowest hunger level you can go down to is hunger 1. If you want to go down to 0, hunger 0, you have to drain a mortal completely.
Okay.
Okay, and If you do that, that might affect your humanity rating. Okay, so keep that in mind.
Okay.
All right. So think about it. In your head, did you feed on any of the other campers? The answer is likely to be
Yeah, I think I did. Probably one or two those solo campers that are adults, and they didn't know I was there.
Yeah, because you told them you weren't there.
Yes.
That's your special power. And one thing that Moon also told you is that she wouldn't be joining the coterie this Thursday, which is tonight, because she's going to be very busy on special events for the Fuchuan stream, where they're having special Halloween events. All right, there's 92 of them. Anyway, moving on to Sheena. Sheena, so how's Chantal's week been?
Chantal's week has been psychedelic. She has learned a new power, which is known as what is it known as? Scry the soul. And she's able to perceive the state of a person's psyche through a shifting aura of powers. And you can learn about things like, your emotional state, your resonance, your supernatural traits. So I can literally tell whether a person is a vampire, a werewolf, or whatever by looking at their colors. And so she's been spending a lot of time along Orchard Road just staring at people to figure out what all the different colors mean.
I want to tell you, Sheena, that you are joined on your first sojourn out to stare at people by a familiar gentleman holding a pair of eyebrow tweezers. It's your Primogen, Stephen. And he sits next to you and he says, so you also staring at their colors. And you have this fascinating long conversation where you sit and the two of you spend hours through the week. And you feel that you've gotten to know him a little better, even though you barely spoke, because the two of you just sat there and stared at people. Every once in a while, he would stand up and you notice at very specific people of very specific auras would cause him to stand up and approach them. And he would ask them questions, very pointed questions.
Does he allow me to listen in on the conversations?
Yeah, he's not far away from you. And with your level of aspects, I'm going to assume that... do you have heightened senses?
No, I do not have heightened senses.
Okay, but nevertheless, the fact that you have aspects, I'm going to say, does make your hearing a little better.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
What do I tend?
So you hear him asking them the most ridiculous things about whether they've ever seen themselves on TV or online and whether they like to be a star. And it's confounding to you because you're just like, but who are you, Stephen? Why are you offering people this? And he would come back after a while, very satisfied with the conversation, even though he's been rejected.
Okay, I ask him about it lah. Is there a reason why you asked them those questions?
It's very important to do it.
Why?
They need to be asked. These questions need to be asked. If I don't ask them, nobody will ask them.
I see. Is there a trend amongst those people? Like
I'm not going to make you roll, but you start to recognize that particular blend of auras that he identifies, and it's rare actually. It's almost like, how the Ventru only feed on one type of herd. He only speaks to one type of aura. Okay, and that particular aura, the people are all different genders, different races, different ages, but all have the same aura. And it's a very specific but yet confusing sort of mess of different things. These are all people whom you can sense are desperately searching for something.
Oh? And
he will only approach them. Like, we're not talking about people who are like, I'm looking for Takashimaya. No. These are people who have a desperate desire. And I'm assuming that's what your you've learned enough about your aura to find out these things. When you read them, because you see him turn and stare at these people. When you read them, you can sense they're desperately searching for something, and that draws him.
Is it because they want to be special? And asking them the question makes them feel special?
We're all special, but some
Yeah.
people need to be asked the question.
When he asks the question, do I notice if their auras change?
Yeah,
And what does it change to?
confusion. They walk away forgetting that they needed to search for something,
Oh?
and they're just confused.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. And you also note that Raffles has told you about Stephen and the fact that he's considered a pariah in the court, even though he's your Primogen. Nominally, the Malkavians are allies of the Banu Hakim, together with the Tremere, but yeah, you get the feeling that your clan is generally ignored. Yeah, and when you see Stephen, he's very single-minded in these things. He doesn't seem to want to do anything else. He's just there with you, sitting next to Paragon and staring at people.
Okay. Over the course of the week, as I'm staring at people as well, I'll also ask him questions, like, so that person, what does that color mean, and things like that.
And he's very happy to teach you.
Hey.
Which is why I think there's no issue with you learning how to master that new level of ability. Not if this, because suddenly everyone was sparkly, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get the sense that Stephen knows more than he lets on. He sees more than he lets on, but he doesn't say anything about it.
Okay. Cool. I will attempt to become friends. Yes.
You have no issue with thinking that he's friendly to you insofar as he seems just as distracted as you are, but for different reasons. And you begin to think maybe we all hear the same voices in our head, or different voices, and it's distracting. It's hard to concentrate. Okay. You're learning what it means to be Malkavian, Chantal.
Okay.
Yeah. So that said, I'm going to move on to Tariq. Ramji. Tariq has been busy. Okay. He's bought property. He's made orders. His efforts to expand his business have been stymied. Tell us about some of these things.
So Tariq has been, as those of you know, he has been in a situation where he has been trying to expand the presence of his business in Asia. As anybody knows, except Tariq, it would seem, there is one company you can go to get help there. Tariq has not gone to that company. And as a result, he has discovered that his gun license, which is the firearms import license they needed in order for his security business to be able to both import and carry weapons, has been put on hold indefinitely. He's reasonably comfortable. He understands why. Fuckers. And so he went and had a little think about it, and has come to the conclusion that he's probably going to be around for a while. And so he's not going to go on his hands and knees to ask for help from the Ventru, because fuck the Ventru, because we still owe them for Carthage. And so instead, he is going to enjoy making Bruce crawl to him on his hands and knees. And so Tariq has instead decided to look in a different direction, and has begun to make contacts via his sire in Malaysia, where the Banu Hakim are strong, and it seems like a reasonable thing to do. So he has purchased some property. He has.
Let me clarify that with you. What property did he purchase?
So he has bought a set of commercial buildings in Johor. right?
Correct.
And it's right out on the edge, basically so that, and it's just the beginning of it. So this is a long-term plan with a few things to do, but he's also going to have his business get incorporated through a mask as well in Malaysia and go through the firearms permits and everything else that needs to be done there in order to be able to do the import-export. Really, what he's going to do is set up a business that's designed to help the larger mercenary outfits in the world that operate in Southeast Asia, get guns and stuff. He's going full gun smuggler, right? It's gun runner, right? So as a result of that, the goal here is the Blackwaters, the various other people. Tariq wants to build relationships with those kinds of folks. And his long-term strategy on this is to do what the Banu Hakim does well, which is basically co-opt the military and security services. He's a little bit frustrated with the fact that hasn't happened in Singapore, but he doesn't really care why. It's just not on his radar of things. He asked Samira about it. She's like, yeah, it's weird. And he's like, okay, cool, it's weird, so I'm going for it. So the other thing he...
actually, Samira told you the real reason. It's Bruce.
Ah, okay, but then he would have said, well,
Because
why didn't you just kill Bruce?
We can't. She's very honest with you. We can't kill Bruce.
Because
he's unkillable.
Because
have you tried to kill a Ventru, Tariq?
I mean, we are the Banu Hakim. We've killed many Ventru.
And
you taught me
there are some Ventru that are harder to kill than others.
Okay, so fine.
Bruce Wayne is one of those.
That's okay. You don't have to kill him.
So what Samira is telling you is that Bruce Wayne is a goddamn Ventru combat monster.
Got it. Yeah, I think we got the impression from that a couple of weeks ago. Anyway, annoyingly,
he's you if you were Ventru.
Well, Tariq is not happy with that comparison either. So, so
that's why he's your adversary.
Indeed. One of the things he's having to do is he had to learn a ritual with Samira's help and everything else that allows him to write letters, because he is realizing that as he's looking more and more into it, whatever it is that the Toreador and the Ventru are doing with the tech stuff in Singapore is thoroughly counter to what every other kindred in the world seems to be doing. So every other kindred in the world seems to be going down the road of
analog,
snail mail, and spells,
full analog, full magic.
And the folks here are not, and so he's kind of not cool with that. So he's trying to figure out what he's going on. So the reality of it is that his solution for Bruce Wayne may be something different. Because he doesn't have to kill Bruce, and that's fine.
Tariq just wants him on his hands and knees. That's right.
Well, yeah, I mean, or in the possession of the Second Inquisition. That's fine too. Now, the second part of this, though, come back to it, is he did also spend some time talking to Professor Santo. He's very nice and very honest and very excitable about things. But he asked him because Chantal wanted to know more about the Thin-Blooded. And basically turns out he hasn't got a Scooby. He'd like to learn more, but he thinks he's got a theory, basically. But it's not much more than that. So
he's basically told you he needs to experiment on live Thin Bloods.
Right. And I'll pass that back to Chantal and just sort of say, so I'm not entirely sure that's a good idea. But
science.
Sort of scary science. And the final thing is Tariq wrote a very nice letter to Georgina to thank her for a lovely tea and very nice time, and for her extraordinary efforts recently in a difficult time.
And what was her reply?
Oh, blah, 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 some bollocks. It was basically, it was our pleasure to have made your acquaintance, Tariq. We look forward to getting to know better. Come visit sometime and tell us more about yourself.
I mean, to you, it sounds quite sincere.
Yeah.
And quite genuine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't do sincere and genuine. So he just looks at it and just like, scheme.
Okay. Samira also reminds you that if you're going to do business in Malaysia, you have to announce yourself
So that was the question that we didn't get to the bottom of. So if that's a fact, in which case, okay, I will.
Once you start doing business, she's just like, I know you just bought a place, but if you're gonna be doing business in another prince's domain, please announce yourself.
Which is perfectly fine. So one of the things Tariq will be doing is he actually asked Samira if she knew anybody in that court, and he has sent a letter using Samira as an introduction to that person, whose name is
Nasir.
Nasir, who's a young sorcerer, saying, just introducing himself, explaining that he would very much appreciate the opportunity to get to know this kindred better, and also would consider it a wonderful start, and would feel ever so slightly indebted, so appropriate terms used, if he could help arrange an introduction at the next Elysium, that it would be possible for Tariq to get to, etc., etc.
The next Elysium, thank you for mentioning that, because the next Elysium, at which, Rachel, you're scheduled to be introduced to the prince, is Thursday, the 25th of November. Okay, Rachel, you also have been told by Tariq, did you pass the lamp to Professor Susanto?
No, I just asked him about it.
You asked him about it?
Did I? No, I didn't. You said it was too tough for me, right?
Yeah, it's too tough for you.
So no, I wouldn't. I would probably be talking to the Banu Hakim about it.
So you didn't ask Professor Susanto about the lamp?
No, because we didn't. No.
Okay, all right, that's fine. Nevertheless, Rachel, you are told by Mike, and specifically Mike, because Professor Ronnie is very, very busy. He's like obsessively busy with his work. He wakes up and his haven is in his lab. It's ridiculous. He wakes up, turns around, and continues working. He works until the sun comes up outside, and then he's like, oh, I'm tired. He turns around and collapses into his bed. So you've actually seen it. He's really, for someone who's supposed to be senior, Rachel, he's very trusting, you feel, to you and Mike, because you've seen him and you're just like, wow. Also, in case you're wondering why you can see him fall asleep, it's because his generation is higher than yours. He gets tired earlier than you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because of your generation, which is higher than his, you tend to need to sleep later and wake earlier. Yeah, so you've seen him wake up and you've seen him fall asleep. Okay, Mike has told you, Rachel, the following things. First thing is that this evening might be a good time to go and try to find or recover the artifact they need from Syonan Jinja, 28th October. Okay, there is a certain confluence in the celestial sphere that makes it easier to find tonight. So Mike is saying, with your new friends, maybe you can convince them to join you on a trip to Syonan Jinja tonight. Yeah. The other thing Mike tells you is that the artifact is likely to contain magic that is old and quite malevolent. So he's given you a box that looks very much like, how do I best describe it? It looks like it looks like a wooden box, but there's a puzzle that needs to be solved in order to open it. Yeah, so for those of you who are familiar with Hellraiser, yeah, so he teaches you how to solve the puzzle, and it's still confusing. You realize it's magic.
Ooh.
Okay, you take a few tries before you can do it, and he says it will be hard to solve the puzzle, but as far as possible, make sure that your exposure to the artifact when you find it is as little as possible, and get it inside the box and keep it inside there. He's not certain because he's read about it, and he believes that it may have an influence on whoever touches it.
Ooh.
So he says, whatever the case, try to get into the box as soon as possible. Okay, the box will dampen whatever spiritual power or negative energy it has. Okay, the problem with the box is that it's a magical puzzle that needs to be solved. So sorry?
Sorry, can the box stay open for long? Like, can I open it and then leave it open and then prepare? No,
That's
cannot.
the curious thing about it. You unlock it, it's open. So you, as part of the puzzle, you end up with an open box. Okay. And then a few seconds later, it's closed again.
Oh, okay.
That's what's frustrating about it. It's only openable with an intelligence plus blood sorcery roll, or a wits plus blood sorcery roll if you're in a hurry. Okay, the wits plus blood sorcery roll is difficulty 4. Difficulty 5. The intelligence plus blood sorcery roll is difficulty 3. Okay, so it's hard. It's hard if you're doing it in a hurry.
Okay.
Okay, so that said, Rachel, what are you going to do? Are you going to contact Tariq and Chantal?
Yes, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. You do have Chantal's contact, right?
Mm-hmm. So I send Chantal a text. Hi Chantal, it's me, Rachel. Do you remember? We met about a week ago.
You get a sticker bag of Nezuko koi.
Yeah, I remember you too. Okay, so I remember the artifact that Professor Susanto told us about. Mike told me that tonight is a really good night to go and get it. So would you mind coming with me? I'll be asking Tariq also, but I don't have his number. Can you help me ask Tariq if both of you would be okay to follow me tonight to get the artifact?
You get one of what's his face? The guy in the yellow robe.
Zenitsu?
You get one of Zenitsu going. And then
That's so nice.
Chantal texts Tariq. Rachel needs help. Tonight is a good night to look for thing. Okay?
The response you get back is a meme of Chuck Norris roundhouse kicking something, dressed as Walker, Texas Ranger.
You get a sticker of Nezuko with like question marks above her head.
And you just get the message that says, I can't get this, Miss Chantal. I cannot make sense of this. But yes, tonight is fine. How are you supposed to select that? Then there are so many of them.
You get one back that's like, Chantal texts Rachel back, and it's Zenitsu again. And the text would be, meet at Ion. And she sends one to Tariq saying, meet at Ion as well.
Rachel tries to jump on this GIF bandwagon and sends the one of friends, and then they all like screaming and jumping together.
You get one back with Nezuko waving pom-pom.
Okay, see you! Exclamation mark.
And so half an hour later, you're all at Ion. I believe that you all would be gathered at the porch of the Orchard Residences. And Tariq, are you driving?
Tariq is driving, yeah.
Okay. So Rachel and Chantal, you get in Tariq's car.
Hi! Oh my gosh, it's so nice to see you all again. Thank you so much for coming today. I really, really appreciate it. Oh, Tariq, you drive. That's so cool. Thanks for driving today. Chantal, how are you?
I'm okay.
Hello.
You look... Can I see their auras and what colors are they?
You tell me, Chantal.
Okay, wait, hold on. I need to check if I can see your aura.
Aura guide.
Aura guide. So I need to make a rouse check. Let's see
Oh
what
yes,
my rouse check is.
Rachel and Tariq make rouse checks to check your hunger level. So Lisa, you just roll a d10. If you get 1 to 5, you re-roll it, and then add 1 to your hunger, and then re-roll it.
Okay. What is my default hunger?
1.
Okay.
So roll a d10. If you get 6 to 10, you're fine.
Oh, I rolled a 9.
Okay, so your hunger is 1. Tariq, your hunger is 1.
Pass, yeah.
Okay, Chantal.
Oh, sorry. Let me say. Pass 8.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, so you guys need to make a composure plus subterfuge roll to see if you can hide your.
Composure plus subterfuge.
Yep.
Sorry, how do I do that?
Okay, so
Okay.
go to your C sheet and then under attributes and skills, look for your composure. What's the number next to it? It'll be in the middle column.
How many dots?
Yeah. Composure.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Eh,
Let me look for your C sheet.
1.
What? Okay, then after that, the next one will be subterfuge. Same column, go all the way down to like
3.
the bottom. Okay,
okay.
so you have 4 dice to roll. How many hunger do you have?
1.
1. So one of those dice will be a different color D10. The other 3 will be the same. You roll all 4 dice.
Oh,
Actually,
no.
the only hunger dice that'll be rolled is Chantal. I'm going to rule on this. Tariq and Rachel, you don't need to roll hunger dice to resist aura reads. Otherwise, it's very violent.
So does does my obfuscate affect the aura read thing at all or not?
Sheena, I'm not sure about this.
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. Yeah.
So
I
makes
roll
sense.
4 dice, like all same
Yes.
color now.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's fine.
Okay.
Only Sheena needs to roll the hunger dice.
Got it.
Okay.
I have 3
Right.
successes.
I have 2.
Okay. So you read Tariq. Rachel has how many?
I roll. So basically, success is just over 5.
6 to 10 is
Oh,
a
sorry, 6 to
success.
10. Okay.
If you have 2 10s, that's equal to 4 successes.
Okay, yeah, no. I failed 3 and passed 1.
Failed 3 and pass. So 1.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So on a
So-
win, the storyteller is meant to truthfully answer a number of questions equal to the margin of the roll about the target's aura and psyche, including emotional state of the subject, resonance in the subject's blood, whether the subject is a vampire, werewolf, ghoul, whether they are under the influence of blood sorcery or other magic, whether they've eaten anybody who is also a kindred as in committed diablerie in the past year.
And so actually because you're scanning the PCs, you can ask the PCs these questions and tell them to answer you truthfully.
Okay, cool. So
whichever
I look
of these
over
questions. Yeah.
and I want to know what is Tariq's emotional state.
Tariq
You can't
would like
lie.
to know what Tariq's emotional state is as well. So you would probably have more idea of what Tariq's emotional state is than Tariq would, given you actually have a toolkit and the ability to see his emotional state, whereas he just has a box. that
What
he
does
puts his emotions in.
Ramji say Tariq's emotional state is?
I would say Tariq's emotional state right now is distracted, sort of like his mind is elsewhere, not like in a negative way. And because of the aura sight, you would see that his mind is probably thinking about a ritual.
Okay. So for Rachel, you had 1 success, right? So I can ask you 2 questions, which is what is your emotional state, and also if you are under the influence of any blood magic or other magic.
I don't think I'm under any influence. And my emotional state is excited. That's my first task, that really important, kind of dangerous task. A little bit nervous because of what I've heard from Mike on how dangerous the artifact is, but mainly excited.
Okay. Rachel, you seem very excited and nervous.
Yeah, I heard that the artifact can be a little bit dangerous, so I'm a bit worried for us and both of you also, but also excited because this is quite fun. Like, it's so dark and then we're going on an adventure. Fun.
Rachel, Chantal turns over to Tariq. Tariq,
Yes, Chantal.
you
Yes,
must
Chantal.
pay attention. Rachel says that the artifact can be dangerous.
Well,
Come
what
back to us.
I would very much like to. It is. I just have this thing. I've been going through my sire's notes more and more, and I am convinced. Actually, Miss Rachel, maybe you will be able to help me here because you are also a practitioner of thaumaturgy as part of your bloodline. Yes.
Yes, but I'm quite beginner.
Yes, of course. I mean, I would like to say I too am beginners as well. Tell me, have you been do you know how, or are you aware of, and basically Tariq just talks at you for 5 minutes as we drive, right? Of like, random thaumaturgical things. And I don't know how much you're into it, but he is unnecessarily into it.
After about 2 minutes of Tariq's monologue, Chantal will hold him by the hand, squeeze, and say, Tariq, tonight is dangerous. You must compartmentalize.
Okay.
Hmm.
Oh, I see. My bloodline. It is
I
difficult for
know
me.
your mind is on something else right now.
Yes, I've got so much research to do.
Yes, but you must push it aside for a while. I do that very often as well.
So you see, as we're walking along, as we're driving along, at one point, Patrick says, yes, that's a good reminder. You've reminded me something important. Where are we? We're heading to McRitchie, right?
That is correct.
Rachel,
So,
maybe you
Yes.
can tell us more about what Mike said to you.
yes, please, I will listen.
Thank you. So he said that the artifact is quite dangerous and we should be exposed to it for as little time as possible. So he gave me this box and I showed him the box. It's a magical box with this puzzle on it that's quite difficult. It took me quite a few times, even while he was demonstrating to me how to open it. And we have to put the artifact in the box as soon as possible. And nobody touched the artifact. You cannot touch the artifact because something bad might happen.
What might happen? Do we know?
I'm not sure. It might mess with your mind a bit, but I'm not sure. And I don't think we should find out.
Okay. Okay.
Tariq, do you know how to safely handle artifacts?
Has Tariq
I don't think so.
Has Tariq ever handled cursed or dangerous artifacts? No, right? So Tariq, you do not know.
So said, no, I have certain things in my lab, but certainly nothing that would be this powerful. So we should take the advice that Miss Rachel has provided.
I should be able to see it because it would be a magical thing. Does the box resonate?
The box is very magical.
Ooh.
The box is glowy.
Yeah. So Tariq, you can feel the magic from the box. You suspect, Tariq, that the box itself is an artifact of some sort.
I asked Rachel if I can look at it.
You're driving.
Yeah.
We reach there in park, then you can.
Yeah.
That actually is a very fair point. So we get to we're heading towards McRitchie, right? So
yes. At this point, Lisa, okay, the player, I'd like you to Google Syonan Jinja because you have to guide the other players there.
I am very bad. Lisa is very bad at directions.
Okay, so
she now knows.
So go ahead and do that right now as I talk through Tariq. Tariq, you look at a box in the car park of McRitchie. Okay, you're holding it in your hand. You
But
can
is there anyone
sense.
else in the car park, Ed? Is there?
I'm assuming you've parked at the far end,
Yeah.
where it's
So-
really quiet,
So
and you've switched off the engine.
right. So having done that, I'll nip to the boot and leave the door open on my side, and I will put on my protective gear, and then we'll obfuscate myself, and then look at the box.
Okay. Are you seated in the driver's seat?
As of now, no. I'd say I'd probably get one of the others to sit in the driver's seat, and I would sit in the back.
Okay.
I'll sit in driver's. I can actually drive, although I'm not sure you want me driving because I'm a very distracted driver.
Okay, so Tariq, you look at the box, okay, and you can sense very strongly that this box is meant to cancel. So outside of it is very magical. The inside of it is the opposite of the outside, and that's what you're sensing so far.
Oh, it's a containment device,
right?
Okay.
But you look at it, and is Tariq good at Rubik's cubes?
I would say so. Yes.
Okay.
I mean,
It's like a magical Rubik's cube
okay.
Ooh.
to open it.
Tariq obviously has a go.
All right. So you need, if you're using intelligence plus blood sorcery, you need 3 successes. I apologize. You need to use hunger dice if you attempt this.
You got it. So roll 5 dice. That's good. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 successes and no failures.
Okay.
No critical.
You know, after examining it and opening it a couple of times, this becomes very clear to you. It opens for exactly 3 seconds. 1001, 1002, 1003, and then immediately reverts to its initial state. The puzzle is different every time.
Is the pattern on the puzzle enough that you can get to the last step of the puzzle?
It seems to you that the box is designed so that if you try to stop just before you solve it and you let go, it resets.
It resets. Okay. All right. So how long does it take to do the puzzle? Tariq will sit there and just stare at it for 3 or 4 times and just attempt to get a rough idea of how long it takes.
I'm going to say if you use wits, the difficulty 5 roll, it takes 10 seconds.
Right.
If you use intel,
yeah,
it takes you a minute.
Right, got it. So wits is wits plus blood magic?
Yes. And if you have no blood magic, you cannot attempt the puzzle.
Difficulty 5?
Yeah.
Okay. Right. That's not gonna happen, is it?
So the point is it's a Rubik's Cube. If you want to solve a Rubik's Cube in 10 seconds, that's how hard it is.
Okay, got it.
And you're using magic to solve the cube, essentially. And only a thaumaturgist is able to even attempt it. Like if Chantal tried it, nothing would happen. She would try to push and nothing happens. She can't see how to operate it.
No, I can see the magic, but I guess it's very cheem.
You don't know what to do, basically. You can try. You're like, it doesn't work. Okay.
Yeah, Tariq will express all of that. So it's there.
On 4 successes, Tariq, you also recognize one thing. This is an artifact from this region. It's local. Okay. It is just an extra piece of information.
Oh, I see. This region has. Oh, I thought you meant the.
This it's from
Southeast Asia.
This island.
Oh, okay, right.
Yeah. I don't know how useful that is to you, but yeah, it's not imported as it were. Okay. So that's that. At which point, now that I know that Tariq is dressed in tactical gear, Rachel, how are you dressed?
I'm just ready for a hike because I'm quite experienced in camping. So in good camping tech wear, good hiking boots.
Okay.
I'm prepared.
Chantal, how are you dressed?
Chantal is dressed in shorts and a shirt that is too long for her shorts. So it looks like she's just wearing an oversized shirt and sneakers.
Miss
It's
Chantal,
completely impractical for the forest.
I have a set of gear for you in the boot.
Hmm.
I took a guess at your approximate size, so I apologize. I went for small everywhere I could, but I figured, so basically it's not protective gear, but it's basically like a black jumpsuit with a hood and
It looks pretty professional. Yeah.
Tariq,
yes,
I
Miss Chantal.
think we're meant to. The masquerade. No one will wear this in Singapore.
Oh, that's right. You cannot invisible. Ah, yes. Okay.
Mm.
Well, if nothing else, then perhaps you could use the trousers and the sort of jogging sweat bottom type things there.
I have trousers. She lifts up the shirt to show you like these tiny denim shorts.
Where?
Here.
Those are not trousers. I mean, I suppose they were called short trousers, so perhaps they are trousers. Okay, I take the point. You are wearing trousers. This is fair. Good. Okay.
Thank you for thinking of me. Maybe I will learn to go invisible one day too. I can do that, but not yet. I like
Well,
looking at people's colors right now.
what color am I?
Purple.
I like purple.
Mm.
Actually, that's not true. And you see a flash of like falsehood across the aura as he says, actually, that's not true. I'm pretty indifferent to colors.
It's just like, but it's okay. It doesn't always stay purple. You change sometimes.
You can see me. I guess good point. Now that he's currently obfuscated looking at things, can you still see him?
Good question. We're gonna have to roll off again, friend.
Oh yeah, that one.
Yeah, so I believe that she'd have to be able to see you to see your aura.
Wits or specs.
To be fair.
Yeah. Wits or speaks.
And again, because you're defending, I won't. The defender shouldn't have to roll hunger dice. The person who's making the active move has to roll the hunger dice. So that's how I'll rule it.
Yeah. To defend against it, it's resolve. Hold on, sorry. It's wits obfuscate.
In the meantime, Lisa, I want you to, after this, they're done with this, Lisa, I need you to be describing the route.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh my gosh, this is so tough. It's just blog post after blog post of people saying, don't do it.
Two successes.
I have 4.
Okay, so you can see.
I see you. Don't worry about this, Rachel. He likes to be incognito sometimes.
Okay, thanks for telling me.
I can see he's right there. She looks a little bit smug about it.
Okay, so the car's locked. The three of you are getting ready to start the journey. Rachel, you're expected to take the lead because you called them out to bring them there.
Yep.
So tell us about the route.
Okay, so there are...
Ramji, can you switch us to the big picture view? Sorry for interrupting,
okay.
Lisa. We're just switching. Yeah, because this is Macritchie at night. It's really beautiful, folks. If you come to Singapore and visit, it's nice. It really is. A lot of us, and it's quite old, and a lot of us haven't been there in a while, but it's worth looking at. Sorry, Lisa, for interrupting. Back to you.
Oh no, it's very nice. Okay, so there are some heritage markers that show the shrine before it was burnt down. And near those markers, there is an entrance to a trail. Do we see that?
So you're going to lead them.
Okay. Hi, everyone. You see these heritage markers. It's so interesting, actually. So the shrine was built a long time ago, during the Japanese occupation. But they burnt it down before they surrendered because they were scared that people were going to destroy it or disrespect it. So they destroyed it themselves. Yeah. So you see over here, the picture is so nice, right? I kind of wish they didn't burn it. But anyway, this marks the entrance to the trail. So there's a narrow trail. You can just follow me. I know it's quite dark, but I have this really bright torchlight. But try not to wander away from the trail. Can be quite dangerous.
Magritte at night actually doesn't have a lot of people because the trails can be quite dark. And it's a good thing that Rachel has a torch, because otherwise you might be stumbling. The ground is rough. It can be quite easy to get lost. But the combination of the use of GPS and the fact that Rachel was given a bit of a map, all right, along the way, Rachel, I don't know, Lisa, if you want to tell them about the things you might see along the way or the stuff along the route.
Okay, so it's a little bit dark to see because it's nighttime, and I know it's a bit humid, a bit hot. Sorry, but you can see actually a bit of the golf course is part of the Singapore Island Country Club. Where the rich people like to play this sport that I really don't understand. But they seem to enjoy it. And yeah, there's some water also. I think it's nicer during the day when you can see more of it. Maybe that's where the humidity is coming from. And also, you see that these wooden stumps. So this is what's left of the bridge to the Syonan Shrine. So there used to be this big, beautiful bridge, as you saw in the pictures at the entrance there. But now there's only these wooden stumps left, after they burnt it down. But it looks quite interesting. You can only see it when the water level is a bit lower. But yeah, it's still nice to see. I mean, it's proof that it was there. Can you see?
Mm.
And so just imagine it's dark. Unfortunately, I don't have a view of this, and you wouldn't be able to see it. It's too dark, folks.
Okay.
Having actually been there, this is the most obvious route, Rachel, that towards Syonan Jinja, across the remains of the bridge. And all of you would have to basically hop and skip across it. Okay, so it's at this point that I must point out two things. One, the reason why you're able to see it is because, and part of the reason why Mike sent all of you there tonight is because the tide is low enough for the stumps to be exposed, but the stumps are also covered in moss, and so they're a bit slippery. So I need everyone to make let me just double check this, dexterity plus athletics check, difficulty 3.
Oof.
Can you walk me through this check, please?
Okay, so look at the left column.
Yep, I see it. My dexterity is 3. My athletics is 0.
Okay, so you would be rolling a total of 3 dice.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to, you could do this thing called a blood surge, where you roll your rouse check. So you roll 1 dice. Hopefully you get 6 and above, and then you can add 2 more dice to the check.
Which I recommend.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you fail, you will get 1 point hungrier. That's all.
But you will still get the 2 extra dice.
Yep.
Oh, okay.
How often can you blood
let me
surge?
try it.
As much as you can.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know.
One
I
for
think-
each roll, basically.
Ah.
You can't search multiple times for the same roll.
I passed.
Yay! well done.
Awesome.
Yay. Okay, so now I roll 5
Surging.
dice.
That's
Pass.
right.
Okay, so now I roll 4 dice.
It's tricky, folks, and dangerous. This is also in real life telling the viewers it's tricky and dangerous in real
I'm
life.
gonna have to willpower this. Oh my
Tariq
gosh.
has 5
Oh.
successes.
Perfect.
So if there's any way that you can lend out some of his successes, you will.
Tariq, you can lend out 1 of your successes.
Okay, so let's see how it goes.
I have exactly 3 after willpowering.
Ooh.
I passed 3 and failed 2.
Okay, that's fine. Okay, so with a combination of being very careful, Tariq in front, briefly appearing to point out certain spots that you should avoid, and Rachel just shining the torch for everyone. Here's the thing. It's occurred to me okay, that even though there aren't many people around, that if you do leave your torch on to do this, it's going to be quite obvious. All right, so are you doing this with the torch on or the torch off?
I will still do it with the torch on, but can I have like a dimmer function?
Sure, that's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're fairly certain that the three of you are fairly certain that no one has noticed you because there's no one to notice you. The golf course is nearby, but enough of a distance away that you don't think there's anyone looking at you right now. And there's certainly you've seen nobody on the trails. It's a really quiet night at Magrichi. Okay. The three of you make it to the other side. All right. And again, this is in the darkness. I can't find a photo for you. These are the actual stairs that led up towards the shrine. Tariq, you know that if you step on these leaves, you will make a sound, and you will have to pass through thickets of overgrown vegetation as well.
Tariq will not make a sound.
But there you go.
He says to the other two, however, if you step on the leaves, you will make a sound. He doesn't, because he has quietus, which is not an indigested problem. It is, in fact, the opposite of that. And so, yes, he's
does quietus only work for yourself at the moment?
Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah.
Okay. Tariq, do you want to go ahead first?
That may well be sensible.
And then text us if there's someone coming, because the leaves are everywhere.
Also, I think what I will do is, because it works, and Tariq will just reach out and just move the leaves aside with his hand silently, and will basically just create a path.
Okay. So it takes a little while because it's so dark, damn it. And the moonlight only helps so much. It's at this point that the three of you, having lived in urban Singapore for such a long time, begin to appreciate just how much light pollution there is, because this is the one part of MacRitchie where there's no light other than starlight and moonlight. And it is dark because trees are covering, it is blocking a lot of lights, and you make your way up very carefully, Tariq. And helping the two ladies up as well, slowly you'll make your way to what you believe to be the entrance. All right, these pillars. And as you approach it, Chantal receives this vision.
Oh.
She sees this in her vision. And she sees this. She sees this.
Person?
Yeah.
And she sees this.
Ooh.
Okay. And that stops you in your tracks, Chantal. The images just flash by.
Okay. She literally just stands there, a bit like staring into space.
Tariq has got used to this sort of behavior coming now and then, so he stops and he just stares at her.
I saw a well, but there was a person in the well, and then there were Japanese people in ceremonial outfits and soldiers.
Oh well.
Mm-hmm.
Do we see a well around us?
Not at the moment. You, from what you know, Rachel, of Syonan Jinja, and from what Mike told you, this is most likely the entrance to it, where the Tory archers once stood.
It seems that we're in the right place, but I'm a bit confused why you see a well with a person in it. That doesn't sound very good.
I think so too. But I'm not entirely certain what it means. Sometimes I see things and they mean things, but I can't always predict what it means.
At this point, all three of you are still standing before these pillars, and you haven't passed through yet. Okay, let me know who passes through first.
Do the pillars have any kind of magic on them?
Not that you can see.
Okay.
Yeah, so after seeing that Chantal has stopped and had to think about things, sort of Tariq will say, can you see any colors?
Not at the moment, Chantal.
No.
Okay. Then he'll step through.
Tariq first?
Yep.
Okay. Tariq, you are assaulted by this vision. You see a glorious, beautiful bridge across the water, manicured lawns in the distance, it's two beautiful, gigantic lanterns, and these two pillars that once marked the entrance to the shrine. You see Japanese soldiers walking with beaming smiles on their faces, laughing, talking to each other. You don't understand what they're saying, but you look at everything and it's so new, it's so beautiful, it's so pretty, and there's this overwhelming sense of pride in you. As you look around, you feel pride. What a beautiful temple this is. And then the vision fades. Rachel, Chantal, you see Tariq pause after he steps through.
Uh-oh.
You see something, Chantal, with your aura vision. You see Tariq have a huge flush of emotion. And the distinction between Tariq's normal emotion, which is like thin ribbons of aura, and this is significant.
Okay. I walk through the arches as well, warily. And if nothing happens, then I just stand and watch Tariq until the aura settles a bit.
Okay. Tariq, the vision seems to be almost like when you stared at something very bright. The vision seems to imprint itself in your mind's eye. It's as if you're looking around and there seems to be an imprint of what you saw in the vision, even though it's dark around this place.
It's almost as if the memory of that place is now in my vision. And what the place was. The bridge is beautiful. The pillars and stones, they're so majestic.
All right.
What the hell am I saying?
So, Tariq, it's a little strange to you that you're saying these things, you're feeling these things. Rachel, okay, you are finding, both Rachel and Chantal, you are both finding Tariq behaving completely out of character as Tariq suddenly flinches. As Tariq, you see this next vision. You see priests carrying parasols. You see, Tariq, you turn around and you see them all around. It is a grand ceremony, but there's such a strong sense of sadness where before you felt pride at how new it was. This time you feel nothing but sadness, of loss, of dejection. Tariq, we're leaving. You feel it. You don't hear it. We're leaving. And you can see everyone start to go. One by one, they proceed in neat ranks. They're leaving the shrine. And there is a small group of men. And you know who they are. Each of them carrying boxes. And those men make you very sad because you know what's in those boxes. We're leaving, the feeling is. And Tariq, imprinted on your vision, and as you turn around, you see where this used to be. It's not there anymore in real space, but you see that these beautiful structures, you see the main shrine, but they're not there anymore, Tariq. Chantal and Rachel, Tariq is just staring out in space. This is what Chantal normally does.
It's
Except he's also
okay.
just radiating the flash of emotion across his aura changes dramatically to like a deep dark blue sadness. Again, something you've just not seen before. And so, Ed, I have a question. Where what's in the boxes? What's in the box?
Do you want to approach the boxes?
Oh, sorry. No, you said I knew what was in the boxes. So
Yeah, the things in the boxes make you very sad, but you'd have to go closer to see what they exactly are.
okay, understood.
Yeah.
So I'll say, do you see the boxes, Miss Chantal?
You do not, Chantal. The only aura you see is Tariq's.
No, you're the one having visions right now.
That is clearly ludicrous. And he walks forward to look in the box.
Okay. Rachel, Chantal, you follow Tariq as he look, it's dark, all right, and he's purposefully striding as if he knows exactly where he's going, as if the floor is not covered in leaves and overgrown roots. He just walks straight up to the center of the ruins, and then he stops, and you can see Tariq's mouth drop. As Tariq, you see in the boxes roll after roll of dynamite. And so now, Tariq, what you're seeing is sort of an overlay. Is sort of, you can see this vision, but you can also see that the reality. It's confusing you a little, but but your rational brain is trying to tell you, okay, this is magic. This is supernatural. It's not real. But the dynamite, seeing the dynamite makes you feel sad, makes you feel a great sense of loss, pity, dejection.
This, if nothing else, is the thing that Tariq's conscious mind is using as fuel to fight against the visions. Because his conscious mind doesn't have to put up with anyone else in his conscious space. All of these strange sort of feelings. And so the conscious mind is sort of, the fuck are you? And so as a result, he sort of says, and then he will quickly swipe his hand through where the dynamite would have been to feel comfortable that he's not about to go into Ross Shrek. Is there dynamite?
It's creepy, Tariq. It's really creepy. Your hand passes through it, but you felt it. But your hand passes through it, but you felt it. It's really weird. It's like you swear you felt yourself touch the dynamite, even though your hand's passing through it. And it's your brain is just rebelling against you right now. This makes no sense.
So I have some occult knowledge, as well as my blood magic and my general intellect. Mm-hmm. Is this anything I could have? Is this one of those? I'm clearly having hypothermia, therefore I should probably get warm. You know what I mean? Is there anything as a clue that Tariq might know about?
Your training tells you that you're having visions because it's magic.
Well, I appear
you're under some sort of magical effect.
I'm under some sort of magical effect.
Okay, Rachel, Chantal, is there anything you want to do for Tariq, or do you continue just following him and watching him?
I am concerned that it will interrupt the vision if we try to do anything, so we just follow him at a safe, close enough that if he accidentally falls or anything, we can attempt to catch him. And I'll explain to Rachel what I see as I go, so she's not like running blind. Tariq is having a vision now. He's experiencing a lot of strange emotions. Come, we hold hands in case. And like pulls her along.
Okay, so Ramji, the next question I have for Tariq will be important. Your answer will determine how this adventure resolves. Ramji, does Tariq care? Does he care about all these feelings that he's feeling? Does he feel, or does he reject them? Does he care?
Damn it. So the problem is, Ed, he doesn't care.
He doesn't?
No, Tariq is not somebody that feelings serve him well in any particular way. So he has gotten very used to taking feelings and, chopping them up and getting rid of them.
Okay. And immediately the visions fade. It's no more. Chantal,
Mhm.
you see in the distance a figure in white robes kneeling in the dark.
Oh, it's a fellow shrine maiden. Okay. Tariq, are you okay?
Tariq, your visions are gone. You don't see this, only Chantal sees it. She's in the distance, Chantal.
Mm.
He says, yes, I had visions. I had feelings. As useful as the visions may
Okay.
have been, the feelings are not.
That's good. My turn now.
Go ahead.
I
What do you
see
see?
a person there.
Are they
Yes.
there?
She's quite far away. She's about 30 meters away. Tariq, it's back to reality for you. You feel none of the emotions that you felt before. Okay.
It's feels a very
just reality.
small amount of happiness.
Okay. Rachel, you're watching this with mild confusion because you're not seeing any of the things they're seeing. Back to you, Chantal. This white figure dressed in white and red with long hair is kneeling in the distance about 30 meters away.
Mm.
Okay. And you know straight away, Chantal, that the other two can't see her.
Okay, there's a person in white robes over there. I'm going to go over.
You're about to step towards her when you see two dark figures grab her
No!
and pull her away.
And she starts running towards.
No, she's being dragged away. She doesn't seem to be resisting. Do you follow?
Yeah.
Okay. Chantal breaks off in a run.
She doesn't
Tariq?
run very fast because Dex too, but yeah.
Okay. Chantal breaks off in a jog. Tariq, Rachel, are you following her?
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
She's being dragged away, Chantal,
Yeah.
and you can see as you get closer, you start seeing her aura. It's faint at first, but then you start seeing fear in her. The two dark figures are just black. They're nothing. They're black. They're like voids. Okay, she's being dragged away.
Okay, Chantal runs as fast as she can. No, leave her alone. What are you doing?
Okay, and they drag her towards this structure.
Oh.
Just imagine it's in the dark.
No.
Okay, and they're holding her over it. Chantal, you can see this. You arrive at it. You're standing about 5 meters away from her, and the two black figures, the two void. I would call them voids. You can see them as they are literal nothingness holding her. Okay, Tariq and Rachel, you're just behind Chantal. Chantal, you're about 5 meters away from her, and she's being held over this structure. Chantal, do you do anything?
Yeah, I am not certain how to affect these creatures, so I do what I can. I stand there and turn on awe.
Okay. Do you say anything?
Yeah, I try to be commanding and be like, I figured it might be Japanese, so using what little Japanese I know, I shout at them, Yamate! Kudasai!
Okay.
With the pause.
Please make a manipulation plus persuasion roll.
Oh, good God.
Do we see anything?
You hear Chantal shout in Japanese. Or at least if you understand that you hear her shouting, Yamate, kudasai!
But we don't see anything at all?
Yeah.
But you don't see anything, but you hear her shout it at this structure. Sheena, how many successes did she get? 6. Excellent. What happens next?
Will shock you.
Actually, it won't, because the two black figures slowly fade away,
Mm.
and the white figure falls in to the well.
No. I try to grab her if I can.
You don't reach her in time. She's fallen in.
And so I catch myself on the edge of the well and I look in.
Do you look in?
Yeah, I look in.
Can you see in the dark?
I cannot.
It's dark.
Because I see her try and look in, I can see that it's dark. I try and help, and I just shine the light.
Okay, Rachel, this is what you see.
Oh,
Ah, that was so scary.
Chantal,
Oh.
you hear this? Okay. How much Japanese does Chantal understand?
very little. Like what she knows is from anime.
She hears Tasukete, Tasukete, Tasukete.
Does Chantal understand what it means?
You've on one of the episodes of Cells at Work, I think you heard Red Blood Cell shouting, "Help! Help me!"
They say that a lot. It's also
That's true. She wants help.
Is there a person down there?
This is what you see.
There's a vision.
No, this is
It's
what
an
you
actual
see.
person.
What does your side say? What colors?
She was a shrine maiden. And they threw her inside. We need to help her. She wants help.
Kindred?
I don't know.
What,
I
does
s-
it- what do you see?
She was dressed in a white robe and dragged away by two dark black figures. It was just blackness, void. And then I called them to stop and they disappeared, but she fell in.
Right. I literally point my finger at the thing that's down there,
Mm-hmm.
and I say, Mrs. Chantal, what is that?
She was a shrine
No,
maiden.
I get that, but what is she now?
Oh yeah, can I see with my aura sight?
Okay. Can you?
Oh, wait.
Don't need to roll. Don't need to roll. Okay. Okay. You are looking at a corpse that shouldn't still have flesh on it.
So there's no real aura, I guess, because it's dead.
Mm.
Okay. It's a
You, as far as you can tell, you're like, it's a corpse, but if it's as old as you think it is, it shouldn't have flesh on it. It has no aura at the moment.
okay. It's a body. It has no aura. But the ghost wants help.
And then you hear a whisper, and it's in Mandarin.
Hmm.
And you hear her say, 我不能逃开，让我出去，让我出去。
She says she can't escape. Please let her out.
how?
I don't know. Maybe if we help her bring her body out.
Okay.
I don't see an aura around the body, but is it magical?
Can you please make what is a perception check? It is insight plus wits, right?
I think so.
Okay. Can you add aspects to that?
Insight, wits, and aspects.
Yeah, all three.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Wait, is there insight? There is insight.
And let me know how many successes you get.
Okay, I have like 10 dice.
Yeah.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7.
Okay. Beneath the waters, very faintly, there is something that's glowing and coruscating.
Okay, but it's not the body, right? It's just under the
It's-
water.
just under the water. You can see where the body is, right? So can you imagine it's just in the center of the well, and there is a single round object that is coruscating.
Chantal suddenly looks up like with some kind of urgency, and then like kind of smacks Tariq on his arm a little bit, even though he's technically invisible. The thing is there. It's in the water.
The artifact is in the water?
Yes.
Oh, Rachel opens her backpack and she takes out a length of rope.
Okay, perfect.
So prepared.
She brought the Dungeoneer's kit. It's perfect. Okay, so how are you going to do this, folks? Tell me.
Is there a tree or a large sort of like something nearby we can attach the rope to?
How long is the rope, Rachel?
Wait, let me Google
The
standard.
question you have to ask, Lisa, is how deep is the well, Ed?
Oh,
The well is about, you estimate,
Okay.
it's about 25 meters deep.
Wow. Okay.
okay. The standard length of hiking rope is 60 meters, so we are okay.
Okay, you can secure it to a nearby tree.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
But the thing is,
Mm.
okay, so I need to know from the coterie how you plan to do this, because it will affect the recovery of the artifact.
Yeah.
so the artifact is glowing underwater, right?
Just underwater, according to Chantal.
And we must not touch it, right?
Yeah.
Mm,
And so we need to put it in the boxes like ASAP.
Okay.
Uh,
So the box is open for 3 seconds.
yeah.
There is a zombie at the bottom of the well.
It's not moving.
Oh my god, it's so scary.
But
But it is
according to
talking
Chantal,
to
it's
Chantal.
talking to Chantal
And Tariq
now
is just
now in Mandarin.
right. So it's a multilingual zombie.
Does it sound when it's speaking Mandarin? Does she sound like she has an accent?
The accent is very Japanese, and the Mandarin she speaks is not. It sounds very affected. I can't get it right, but imagine somebody who's speaking Mandarin from a long time ago who's Japanese.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah. I mean, Chantal, you put 2 and 2 together, it's the Shrine Maiden.
Yep. I'm very good at picking up clues.
It's why I got aspects to it. Okay, but I do need to ask the party how you do this, because that affects the recovery of the artifact.
Okay, I will call down the well. 我们要帮你
We want to help you?
Yeah.
I'm just translating for you.
你不要伤害我们。
让我出去。
好，我们会帮你出来。
So she's saying, let me out. And Chantal is answering, we will help you out. Okay, how will you do it? Players, tell me.
So
Should we take her body out before we go for the artifact?
I think so.
I'm scared.
Okay, Tariq, I'm going to allow you to make an flat intelligence roll. No hunger dice. Tell me how many successes you get.
and I'm going to use a blood surge.
Sure.
Which I roused through, which is good. And okay, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4 successes.
Tariq, you don't know how deep the water is. You don't know how deep the water is. You don't know whether this body or corpse is floating on the water.
We will take a coin. Oh, not a coin, a stone. And just drop it into the well to see what happens.
Okay, you pick up a stone. If nobody stops Tariq, he will drop it in.
Yeah.
It goes doom.
like
Okay.
a turd in the toilet.
Right? It's, as far as you can tell, Tariq, it's deeper. It's deeper than just the corpse.
The corpse is floating. Perhaps if we were to just retrieve the corpse, the item would come with it.
Maybe.
Okay, so Tariq, because you had 4 successes on that intelligence check, here are the risks that occur to you. If there's an item on the corpse and it's not secured to the corpse, and you lift the corpse, it may drop into the water. Okay, so that occurs to you.
As in the item is on the corpse. So like
So Tariq, that occurs to Tariq. If the item is on the corpse and the corpse is floating on the water, if you move the corpse without securing the item will fall into the water.
How long is that rope, Miss Rachel?
Rachel, Tariq just asked you a question.
Oh, sorry.
How long is the rope?
60 meters.
So Tariq says, perhaps we should use the rope to estimate the depth of this well.
Oh, that's a good idea. So Rachel ties a rock at the bottom of the rope.
That's fine. You
And
figure
then-
out,
yeah.
it's not too hard. You figure out that from the corpse, 25 meters down to the corpse, and then after the corpse is another 10 meters down of water.
So it's a total of 35 meters.
To the absolute bottom.
So Ramji's obviously shitting bricks right now because this is terrifying, but Tariq is just not, right? So
Tariq's calm, yeah.
Tariq's calm and it's just going to be like, okay, fine. So I think we know what we need to do. I think the main problem is going to be we need to get down there, get back up again, and make sure that that item is secured. So can we see? Can we see where what the item is, or how it is?
Not from this distance. Chantal can see the aura of the artifact, or at least she thinks what she thinks is the artifact. None of you can see it.
So if we go like 10 meters down on the rope, Tariq will sort of suggest that we tie the rope off safely, and the 2 of them stay up here, and he will just take himself 5 or 10 meters down so he can get a closer look to be able to see better.
Okay.
And then
all right, with the torch, yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
He has his own torch, so
that's fine. I'm going to assume Tariq is awesome enough that he has a head torch, so your hands
exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
I was about to say that.
Okay, Rachel, Chantal, if you don't have, I'm going to assume the 2 of you are just watching or assisting, unless you're doing other things.
I also shine my light, but other than that, I'm scared.
That's fine.
Chantal will try to call out directions.
Okay.
Like,
Chantal,
the glowing thing to the left.
Chantal, every minute or so, you hear a plaintive plea to asking you to free her.
Yeah.
Okay. Every minute, it's quite regular.
Okay.
It just drifts into your head. Please get me out. Okay. So Tariq, you're heading down. You descend 5 meters, 10 meters. You still don't see it. It's 15 meters down. So
I can now see this person clearly, right?
You
What do
can
I see?
It's a corpse. It's very badly decomposed. But if this is from World War II, it makes no sense why the flesh has not completely decomposed. This should be a skeleton at the very most. It's been 80 years almost.
Is there anything in the kindred supernatural world that Tariq knows about? Like, is this what would happen to a ghoul? Is this what would happen to a ghoul that didn't have blood? I mean, what would cause this sort of thing?
You're not sure, to be honest. Perhaps you've never seen a ghoul that's died and been left to rot, for example.
Right.
Chantal calls down into the well. 我的朋友来帮你了，你让他带你出去。
My friend is coming to help you. Let him bring you out. And her reply again is, 带我出去.
Tariq, maybe the magic thing is keeping her in this state.
It seems to be the case. Can you see where that magic thing is with Chantal anymore?
Yeah, based on where he is, I try to give him directions on where the glowing thing is.
Tariq will go back up the rope for a second, hand Chantal a small laser pointer, and come back down again.
Okay. Tariq, from where Chantal pointed, you look at it. It appears to be near her left pelvis. So if you imagine where your hip is, and you pointed like an inch above that would be where it is on the corpse.
Okay, so the next question is, this corpse that's there, like, do I see anything in the water below it?
No, it's pitch dark.
Well, even with the torch?
Yeah.
I'm also shining one, like super powerful.
The water is filthy.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay, makes sense.
All right, so then fuck it. All right, and Tariq is just gonna descend further.
Okay. Tariq, you're now 5 meters away from the corpse. Okay. If you could smell, you would smell, but you can't smell, so you don't smell. Unless you want a blush of life to smell.
No, I'm good at it. We're good with this.
Okay, you can see the corpse clearly now. Yeah, it's brown, it's covered in muck. And you're fairly certain that where the point that Chantal pointed to is just below the water line. It's on the corpse. You can't, it's just under the water line. You're 5 meters away.
So Tariq will just Tariq's going to do two things. He's going to right. He's going to pull a one of those metal tip stakes that he has, right? And he will keep that sort of probably in his teeth or something, useful like that. And then so that he's got it to hand if he needs it.
Right.
But then is going to say, okay, wish me luck. And then we'll come down to about where the body is.
Okay. You're just above the water line. The body is right next to you. Okay. It has no face anymore. It's been completely decomposed. The flesh you can still see on it. It makes no sense that it's there. Unlike Chantal, you can't see where the item is. You can guess where it is. You know the location on the body. It's just below the waterline. You're confident where it is. Now, the question I have for you, Tariq, is how are you going to proceed from here?
Well, so if I use the torch, can I shine? It's a mag light, so it's to get in the water, right? So can I shine the light onto the item?
Perfect. It appears to be something. There appears to be something tied to the waist of this corpse by a cord that appears to be very frayed, very, very frayed. It's like you're worried, Tariq, that if you breathe on it, the cord will break. But it's tied around the waist of this corpse. And there is something just under the waterline that's attached to that cord. It looks round-ish. You're not sure there's something there. And you're thinking that's probably it. And you're like, how am I going to take it out without the cord? Okay, so what occurs to you, Tariq, is that if you move the body, the cord will likely break. There's a high chance of it. If you touch the cord, it's likely to break also, which leaves you the best way to secure it is to actually grab it. That item, whatever it is.
How big is that item?
It appears to be small, about the size of a marble.
Does Tariq think he could do the Rubik's Cube puzzle and grab it with the open box?
Tariq is very confident in himself, so I would say Tariq would think he could.
Cool. Tariq will come back up.
So the idea Tariq thinks is that, okay, I'm gonna do the Indiana Jones thing. Okay, finish straight away, grab and put it inside.
Well, he's got 3 seconds, right?
Yeah.
So his logic is this, right? So if the thing is just below the waterline, 3 seconds with, and he'll, just be thoughtful about this. For 3 seconds is enough for him to get to the last step,
right?
Put it under the waterline, open it. The vacuum of the water will be sucked into the box, and so should this marble be. Is his logic.
And if the cord breaks when the water vacuums, it should fall inside the box, right?
Correct. That's the logic.
Okay, that's fine. Tariq, that seems perfectly reasonable to you. Will you explain that plan to your coterie members?
Of course. So Tariq says, okay. And he comes back up. And he goes, I have good news, and I have, I guess it's good news. The good news is I think I see that little sort of pearl. It's about this big. It is attached by a very thin rope around the waist of this poor unfortunate that is in this well. I'm not sure if it's good news or not, is that person is thoroughly decomposed and dead beyond all concept of death. Therefore, whatever is talking to you, Miss Chantal, is either a remnant of some sort or is, I do not know, it is something. What I suggest is the following. I will, and I'll explain the plan and say, but I'm also open to the fact that that is a stupid plan if there is a better one.
Sounds like a good plan to me.
I have never retrieved an artifact before.
We were specifically told to not touch it, yes?
Yes, and to minimize exposure.
I would have just used a plastic bag.
That's a very good idea. Do you have a plastic bag?
I do.
Yes, Rachel has a plastic bag.
Oh,
Actually, I think I have gloves.
Rachel has gloves.
Yeah.
Rachel has a
Tariq is
plastic
wearing
bag.
gloves as well.
Yeah.
I think gloves would have counted. The gloves. Oh, if gloves is fine. I mean, we can wish
Okay.
gloves.
Rachel, you've been warned by Mike that gloves won't be enough.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So the plastic bag, I
How
could put
about
it underneath.
Gloves
Just lift it.
and plastic bags.
You think maybe that might be better because there's that gap.
Yeah.
She
So I passed Tariq the gloves and a plastic bag.
Oh, Tariq's got gloves.
Oh, okay. Then like Ziploc bags.
Okay.
They might have used her as a sacrifice to protect the artifact.
I will not be touching it. I'll be grabbing the water around the artifact.
I
That's my
know,
plan.
but if you bring the artifact up without her, it might be a problem. I don't know.
Oh, you think that will make what's the word? The zombie eat my
Activate?
face?
Maybe. But
Um,
she doesn't want to be. She just wants to be freed. So maybe you put the plastic bag around the thing to keep it from floating away. Then you carry her and try to come up.
As in bring the whole body up? Will it fall apart if it's decomposed so much?
Well, I mean, we can try, but we'll do our best.
so a very small echo of that sadness from earlier kicks into Tariq, just for a second, and he sort of says, I do not know what this person did, but they deserve to be buried. But I think, is it burial? I think it's burial. I think the position is burial. I don't really know. You watch anime. Is it burial, Miss Chantal?
Mm-hmm.
Then at least a simple grave.
Put to rest properly.
Yes.
That sounds nice.
So, in which case, Tariq will then look for, and if necessary, like we'll go back and we'll go and get gear. But the idea, but I don't think it's necessary, right? Because it'll be a combination of the rope plus a couple of other things, like if there's bags or whatever. The idea to be that we'll get the marble, but we'll keep her and the marble together, so roughly the same.
Okay.
And then basically, Tariq will be using the equivalent of a body bag in essence to get her out.
Okay. So here's the weird ass roll I need you to make. So you
Sure.
won't be doing that open puzzle box thing on her, right?
No.
Okay. So I need you to make a weird ass roll to make all this happen. It will be one roll. Okay. So the coterie can contribute. Okay. One of the coterie members has to roll dexterity. Add dexterity to the pool. One of the coterie members has to add wits to the pool. One of the coterie members needs to add athletics to the pool.
Wait, what was the one before athletics?
Dexterity, wits, athletics.
Tariq has
Okay.
dexterity for wits 2 and
I have
athletics.
My wit's 3, so I can do it, I guess.
I got wits 4. Athletics
Okay.
0.
Do you have any athletics?
Yeah, my
Jason?
athletics is 0 also.
So
So
Yeah.
what does Tariq contribute?
well, he's got Dex 4. I don't know if anyone's got any Dex that's high.
No.
No,
My dex is
mine's 3.
Okay. So what does Chantal contribute?
I can contribute wits 4.
Okay, so that's 4 plus 4, right?
Yeah,
So far. Okay. What does Rachel contribute?
My dex and wits are 3.
Mm.
So
Do you
we'd
have
be-
any
we'd be at-
athletics, Tariq?
I have 1, so it doesn't really matter. So going down the Dex from Dex 4 to Dex 3, and then going up by, we'll do it that way if you like. We'll take Rachel's Dex, my athletics, and Chantal's.
That puts you at 8 dice, right?
Yes,
Mm.
it would be at 8 regardless. Yeah.
Okay. So it will be a flat difficulty of 5 to
Yeah.
do this without dropping the artifact and without
Right.
touching the artifact. If you get less than 5, Tariq touches the artifact.
So I failed a rouse check, then passed one because I wanted to spend blood, so I get a bit hungry.
Oh, if you fail the rouse check, you still get the dice.
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I do. Okay. So I need.
Okay, but I'm
I
gonna
now have 200
say
dice.
for this roll, for this particular roll, you can only rouse once. You can't. The party can't each rouse, so only one person
Got it.
can rouse.
Got it. So Tariq
Okay,
has
so you've
roused.
got 10 dice.
Yeah.
Okay, you need 5 successes on this. I'm gonna ask Tariq to roll it with his hunger dice. You need 5 successes. You roll any less than 5, Tariq touches the artifact.
No
So
touch.
It's a good start. It's a good start with 2 zeros. And
Okay,
then
that's
there's a
4
7,
already.
There's a 7. There's a 6. There's a 6. Yeah, I've got lots of successes.
Okay.
I've got 2 failures.
Yay!
Hunger
Oh,
dice.
thank God.
Were any of the hunger dice zeros or ones?
No.
Perfect.
I like
Yay!
Okay, Ramji, describe what happens.
So yeah, Tariq is a combination of Rachel sort of helping to belay the rope and holding it. So Tariq is not, just kind of rappelling down. So Rachel is kind of effectively allowing him to belay. She's belaying him, sort of paying out the rope, so that gets to a certain point where Tariq kind of is mission impossibling it. He's got an arm out one side, he's got an arm on the other side, he's got a leg out one side, a leg out the other side, and another arm's just appeared from somewhere. Because actually, maybe he's missing. No, so as a result, he's able to get underneath the water, which is kind of grotesque and horrible water, with sort of like the larger sort of sheet of a bag that allows him to kind of sort of pull it around and under again. And then as he does so, he Chantal's kind of like calling out directions, and exactly where to bring it to make sure that it's caught up, and so it brings it up a bit like a net, as it were, around this poor unfortunate, and then sort of pulls it together with his strength, and, then wraps around the bag, and then sort of comes back up and then pulls it up.
Okay. You bring slightly damp because of the corpse. You carefully place it together with the plastic bag that's now around its waist, as it were, on the ground next to the well. What do you do next?
So I will say that we probably need to think about getting this this stone into the box, but your concerns haven't changed, Ms. Chantal.
Chantal, you can see it clearly now. It's a marble-sized object.
Okay. Has the
Right.
voice changed? Has she continued with her cries for help?
It's silent now.
Okay. Now that the body is up, I'm like, I hope you are free now. Please rest in peace if you can, and
the bag
move
moving?
on.
Sorry, Tariq?
Is the bag moving?
No, nothing's happening at the moment.
As soon as you rest in peace, I hope you're free now. Tariq is like...
Chantal says that out loud, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Nothing happens.
Okay. She reaches out to unzip the bag.
Wait. We need to do the box.
Okay. Who's going to do the box?
So Tariq is going to suggest that there's a very straightforward order here. So the bag is going to get opened. The water will go everywhere, right? Chantal, you just literally have to point at the marble.
Okay.
It's quite obvious to all of you actually now that there's a little tiny thing.
Oh, it's very straightforward, is it? Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, you can see it.
And then...
but you can see a tiny marble-like object. For Chantal, it's very bright.
Yeah. Chantal is going to try to be helpful and like laser point the marble anyway.
Chantal, you're starting to notice one thing though.
Yes.
The colors have started to change. Where before it was this coruscating rainbow. All right. You see this black and red, almost tentacles that sort of reach out about an inch from the marble.
Hurry up. The thing is changing. It's getting hentai.
and what? So Tariq will just start basically starting the puzzle, and then we'll say to Rachel to open it, and then for Chantal to like very closely point, and he'll just...
Terry, 1 minute or 10 seconds?
It's going to be the 1 minute because it ain't going to be the 10 seconds.
Okay.
Because I don't have enough dice.
Okay.
Can Rachel do it in 10 seconds?
As in open the box?
Yeah.
Intelligence plus blood sorcery.
Oh, intelligence plus blood sorcery I can do. I thought it's wits.
Oh, sorry, wits plus blood sorcery. I apologize.
You need 5 successes. I only have 2.
5 successes, yeah.
Wait, are you asking for me? My intelligence is 2. No, wits is 3. 3.
Blood sorcery?
Blood sorcery is 1.
So even then...
It's a bad idea. So 1 minute, okay?
So 1 minute.
Chantal, you're having bad feelings about the growing tentacles. It's starting to get longer and longer.
It's coming from the thing, right?
So it's like this orb. And then you can see like around it. You know how like the Tesla coil has those like arcing electricity things?
Yeah.
You see it as little tendrils of dark black and red energy that's starting to reach out, and the tendrils are starting to get longer.
Okay. I call out, everyone back away. The thing is reaching out. Back away.
Tariq, 30 seconds. Okay, 30 seconds have passed, Tariq. You're halfway through.
Okay, so people will back away with Chantal, but keep him going. So the idea is that he's asking her to point out where the shadows are with the laser pointer.
I do that. So I'm like telling everybody back away, and I'm pointing at any tendrils that are coming too close.
And he is literally staying just out the range of the tendrils, with the intention of, as soon as the box opens, turning it around, pushing the box through whatever tendril it is, and then onto the marble.
Chantal, it seems to you that for every 30 seconds that pass, the tendrils get an inch longer.
Ooh.
Okay, Tariq. It's about, from what Chantal is pointing out, it's about 3 inches long. Now the tendrils, you may make your roll to unlock the box.
So intelligence plus blood sorcery.
That's right.
Rouse again. Yay, I passed. Okay.
Roll it the hunger dice.
Yes, I still have 2 hunger dice. So I put them in.
You need 3 successes.
Also, do not forget your willpower.
Yes. 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6 successes, but one of them was a critical on the hunger dice.
Okay.
But how many do I need?
You need only 3.
I will use a willpower to reroll that.
Okay.
And I was still a success, but it wasn't acceptable.
Yeah. Okay. So you have enough. Okay. So Tariq, I'm gonna assume I'll describe it for you. Okay. Taking the box and very carefully, noting where it is, you almost throw the box, the open box, onto the bag and scoop it up. And Chantal, you watch as the tendril strikes disappear into the box. And 3, 2, 1. Okay. The next thing that happens is this. Chantal, you hear in your head, thank you. In Mandarin. Okay, 谢谢. And the corpse is starting to fall apart. As in, the flesh is starting to just rot off in front of you. Tariq, you're holding the box and you can see it's almost like the flesh is, you thought at first it was moving, the corpse was moving, but it's not. It's just the flesh shriveling up and disappearing. And in less than a minute, there's only a skeleton in dirty brown rags on the ground.
Sayonara.
Tariq will look around. Well, probably get another bag in essence, right? And put the skeleton and the remains in the bag.
Do you have a big enough bag for it? I'm just wondering. Is it like a trash bag?
I'll look at Rachel and say, do you have a bag for this? Yeah, trash bag.
I have a trash bag, but is that what you want?
Not at the moment. I will make sure it is to get away from this place and to put this person to rest somewhere.
Oh,
But they were made in the shrine, right? So look at Chantal says, so this was their place. This was somewhere they cared for.
Yes,
What do you think? Would you think they would prefer to be buried here?
probably.
Where would they choose to be buried, Chantal?
Based on anime knowledge, would I know like if they buried bodies in Japanese shrines, and if they do, what will be?
So you watch this anime where after one of the keeper of the shrine died, there was a big ritual where the villagers burnt the body, and there was a nice ceremony, and then her ashes were interred in the temple.
Well, I think they tend to burn the bodies and then inter the ashes at the temple, but she's very damp right now, so I'm not sure if she can burn.
And there's also that problem of all three of you, once you hear burn from Chantal, you're just like, yeah, vampires and fire.
But
burning is bones are very hard to burn as well.
It's true.
Maybe
we just dig her a grave.
Yes, let's do that. Miss Rachel, you appear to be very well organized for a hike. Do you perhaps have a small
I do
spade of some
actually.
sort?
I do. She takes out two small, like handheld, like shovel things.
The ones you dig toilets with.
And they'll trench digger. It's like, yes, that's a good idea. We should have I should carry a pack, but and then we'll.
It takes you about half an hour to find a nice spot. Who touches the corpse?
I will.
Yeah.
Okay. Chantal, you see pictures in your head that flash. You see the shrine at the height of its glory. You see the retreat of the Japanese. And you see them. You see in this picture, you notice that back in the corner is this lady. And you see that she's crying as they do this, because they are taking the shrine apart with dynamite, and she refuses to leave. So they warn her that they will kill her and leave her here. And she says, "I'm the keeper of the shrine and the keeper of the shrine's sacred jewel. This is this was invested in me to defend. I will defend myself. I will defend the jewel and the shrine to my death. Then they said, you'll die here. And so what they do is that they do kill her. They slit her throat and they throw her in the well.
Oh.
But they don't dare to touch the jewel that's tied around her waist. And as she's falling, you see, as she's descending down the well, the last thing you see, Chantal, is fire and the sounds of explosions. And the vision ends.
You see a bloody tear roll down Chantal's cheek. And then she scans her memory for like any appropriate saying she can say in Japanese. And then she looks at the body and says, Yasuraka ni nemoru, which apparently means rest in peace. And she starts to gather up the bones piece by piece respectfully.
It takes you just about an hour to complete the process. So you respectfully do so and bury the bones. Do you leave a marker?
Not sure what to leave as a marker. She looks around to see if there's like a random piece of wood or something.
Unfortunately, all the wood has rotted. But there's broken stone masonry.
Okay. Oh, the clothes that she was wearing, right? Like the rags that there was there like a ribbon or something, even if it's rotted?
Yeah, it was. It fell apart, unfortunately. It's all sort of falling apart.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah.
So in that case, she'll take a stone and kind of build a little, like a cairn kind of situation.
Okay.
Yeah.
And by the time you finish, it's around midnight. Okay. And this is where the scene quietly ends as the coterie descends the stairs back toward the steps. Behind you, there's a vision of a woman dressed in white and red, seated next to that pile of stones you had created, and with her hand gently stroking the pile of stones and smiling. And that's where we end tonight. Thank you very much for joining us. And thank you to our players, Ramji playing Tariq, Sheena playing Chantal, and Lisa playing Rachel. And also, if you enjoyed tonight's session, please do join us on the Fourth Culture's Discord and on our Discord channel, as well as if you join us late, you can watch the replay on YouTube. And please also do follow us on Twitch and subscribe on YouTube as well. And also on Twitch. We really appreciate that. Our usual Monday night game is our Dungeons and Dragons game based on the wonderful world of Ertu. And we're really doing some amazing, crazy things after this long interlude that our parties had away from our plane. So we're trying to sort out a very, very difficult situation that we're still trying to come to terms with. Our characters, our party has been away for 3 years. What's going to happen next? Well, you're going to have to check that out on Monday night at 7 p.m. But for now, I'm going to hand it over to Ramji. Ramji, where do we go next?
We are going to go and raid Casey as we do every week. And as I type the magic thing in, I just want to say thank you very much to everyone. Thank you as always, Ed, for a remarkable story. Happy Halloween, folks, for those who celebrate it, or witching evening, or whatever it is. And all I can say to Sheena and Lisa above me is, if you had put in the amount of effort into your costume that I had, just imagine how you could have looked. On that bombshell, we'll see you in Sanchi in just a minute.